Lullaby and I'm a French writer. Today I decided to pitch my books to you non-French speakers. Just so maybe watching this video would spark the little idea in that brain of yours to start learning French, just so you could enjoy my books, shall we? You live in a village where sleep, dreams, and nightmares are controlled by a magic flower named the night daisy. However, the people in that village have always been scared of this magic plant because it's a magic plant. So in order to get rid of the problem, they asked or forced a woman named Tibeth to take care of that plant. Tibeth is the guardian of the night daisy. She takes care of it, makes sure it's healthy, and makes sure that the magic doesn't go out of control. But if the magic doesn't go out of control, well, there's no story. At the beginning of the story, the magic has been out of control for quite a while. First, the nightmares of the villagers came to life, to the point where everyone was just scared of going to sleep because monsters were coming back to life. But now it has gone worse. See, it's not just the nightmares and the dreams coming back to life and haunting the villagers. It's just that the villagers can't sleep anymore. No one has been sleeping for days. And because Tibeth is the guardian of this flower, well, she's the perfect culprit. When the story started, Tibeth is trying to run away from the villagers, but she kind of hesitates because she is madly in love with Mabel, the daughter of the chief. And maybe she could run away with her instead of by herself. This was the pitch of La Night Marguerite, The Night Daisy. It is a short story in an anthology named Sorcellerie Végétale, and it's the first time it was officially published in 2023. The pages look like that, it's so cool. The Night Daisy is a story about memory and mostly about revenge. In this story, Tibeth and Mabel are both women in love with a woman, but their sexual orientation is not named. Can I say it like that? Like, we don't know if they are lesbian, if they are pan, if they are bi, they're queer. It's a sapphic couple. Noah is a teenager living in 2124. She lives in a future where queerphobia doesn't exist anymore. To the point where when in history class she learns about queer history, it's kind of hard for her to believe it and to think that it was once true. Noah is a huge geek. She spends most of her night scrolling through an old forum from our time. She scrolls all night, every night, through this inactive forum just because she's curious about how our time was. One night, right before going to sleep, she stumbled upon a very sad message on this forum. In 2024, a teenager named Mila wrote a message saying that she was outed as bisexual in her school, mostly in her dance class, and since then she's been severely bullied and she doesn't know what to do anymore. This message was posted 100 years back and has no response. Mila wrote this message in 2024 and no one cared or no one saw it. On an impulse, Noah answers to it. She says that if she has been in school with her that time, she would have treated her differently, she would have invited her to a birthday party, because Mila says in her message that she has been uninvited to every birthday parties, and that she is happy that this doesn't exist anymore. Noah is ready to go to bed, but a little ping happens on her computer. Mila responded. But Mila wrote the first message 100 years ago. Mila is probably like very old or very dead. And the response is still a Mila in distress. Still Mila, the teenager, who doesn't know what to do. Noah quickly realizes that she's not talking to old Mila. She's somehow talking to teenager Mila, the one that is still lost and still hurt and still doesn't know what to do because she's being bullied at school for being bisexual. Noah really wants to help her, but how can she do that? So Noah does some research on this Mila, and turns out Mila became a very, very renowned and famous dancer who advocated her whole life to help queer people and women. However, with her messages traveling in time, how can Noah help Mila without ruining her future? Because if Noah is not scared to be herself, well, maybe it's because people like Mila fought for her rights. This is my short story, Conseil d'abeille, in Nos identités futures, celles qu'on imagine, celles qu'on espère. We could translate the title of my short story by A Bee's Advice. And no, I won't tell you why a bee's advice. You'll have to read it to know why. This was published in January 2024. A Bee's Advice is, of course, a story about bullying, about queerphobia, but it's mostly a very geeky story about coming out and about activism, and also about helping a friend in a dark time. In a piece of advice, Mila is bisexual and Noah is a lesbian. In 2024 started the zombie apocalypse. Well, it had started for a little while, but governments treated it like nothing. Something that would pass, and now it's too late. A teenager named Rory, I'm not gonna pronounce it in English because Rory is too hard for me to say, the R's are too complicated for me. Rory is in a school assembly and suddenly everyone starts eating each other. Eating each other? Zombies are here. She tries to hide in her school bathroom, is attacked by a zombie, a former classmate, and is saved by Martha. Martha is clearly a crush. She is, for her, the most beautiful girl in school. She's in archery class, and she's also scared as hell. Like, there are zombies everywhere. Rory decides to go back home because she wants to know if her family is safe. And then we jump in 2028, where Martha and Rory are in love. We are following the two young ladies as they're trying to survive every day. All they have is their love and a Jeep, like the car. But there is a little problem. While Rory doesn't mind road tripping through France every day and thinks that this is actually a good life, Martha is scared because Rory is very sick. Like, sicker and sicker by the day. Which can mean two things. One, she's either dying, or two, she's turning into a zombie. This apocalypse is quite new still in this universe. Like, it's been 4 years, but humanity didn't really adapt to it. Big city fell down, the government fell down, and now the world, not just France, is kind of divided in several little communities trying to survive. Each of these communities have different rules, different laws, different ways of living. Humans are trying to survive the best that they can. And what I try to emphasize in this story is that, well, maybe zombies aren't the enemies. Because zombies are just monsters. They're dead. They're reacting to a primal instinct. They're hungry. They don't really control what's going on. Humans, however, when it comes to surviving, are not always very friendly. This is Toi, moi et l'apocalypse. I don't know if I would translate the title by You, Me, and the Apocalypse, which is word by word the title, or You and Me against the Apocalypse. I am so proud of it. Even though the prologue is in 2024 and the rest of the story is in 2028, you still have plenty of flashbacks to see how Martha and Rory fell in love. It talks about love, it talks about zombies, but it mostly talks about anxiety and about fear and regret. You can see their first time together, like their first time, their first kiss. They'll talk about their coming out, about their family that they left behind, about the future they had dreamed of, about how without the zombie apocalypse they would have never talked to each other. It's kind of a grumpy sunshine relationship, like kinda. You've got a little bit of found family too, because Rory and Martha are not the only characters. My favorite one is Charlotte. And I just like that this is a very rock and roll road trip with a lot of pop culture references, a lot of music. The book is divided in 4 parts, and each part is titled after one of my favorite songs in the world, by one of my favorite bands in the world. You have the band Paris, the band Icon for Hire, the band The Pretty Reckless, and the band Tonight Alive. In You and Me Against the Apocalypse, Rory is bisexual, Martha is a lesbian, and you will encounter 2 other women who are queer, even though their sexual orientation is not, like, precised. Named? I don't know. We do not know if they are bi, pan, lesbian. They're just 2 women in love. Thank you for watching this video about my books. I wouldn't mind them being translated at some point. Have a nice Sunday.